Okay, we're interrupting the Senate interpellation right now to come back to regular programming and also bring you the developing news and the stories behind the headlines. This is Storycon. I am Regina Lay. Here are the stories we're watching this midweek, Wednesday, August 27th. As I said, senators have begun the interpellation of Senator Ping Lacson after his explosive privilege speech last week. His speech, titled Flooded Gates of Corruption, centered on substandard and ghost flood control projects. President Bongbong Marcos has ordered lifestyle checks on all government officials amid a probe into alleged anomalous flood control projects. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said the directive signals agencies like COA, BIR, and Customs, as well as LGUs to help monitor unexplained wealth. Other stories that are coming out of Malacanang today, still on Palace Press Officer Claire Castro, she confirmed that President Marcos will make a state visit to Cambodia from September 7 to 9. He will also be attending the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly in the United States next month. Meantime, the palace reiterated that Police General Nicolas Torre III is being offered another government position following his relief as PNP chief. The palace has also denied claims that there are widening cracks in the Marcos administration after, again, General Torres' sudden firing. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro insisted that the change in leadership at the PNP should not be called a messy transition because Torre understands and respects the president's decision. Interior Secretary John Vic Remulla earlier said the former PNP chief did not violate any law and is not facing administrative charges.
Huwag naman natin masabi nagkaroon ng messy transition because nagkausap naman po sila at alam po natin na naiintindihan ni General Torre kung ano yung naganap at nirerespeto rin po niya kung ano po yung naging desisyon ng Pangulo.
Okay, joining us today, as always, we've got Storycon's resident political pundit, Ronald Liama. So I read the prompter as is, walang dagdag, walang bawas. How do you...
Kaya I'm thankful.
You were so overwhelmed.
You're so generous na.
And from the Philippine Star, we've got Editor-in-Chief, Ami Pamintuan. Hi, Ami.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody.
Happy
Happy Wednesday.
It's not a messy transition, Yusek Castro said.
Define messy.
Anong headline nyo, Ami?
Define not messy.
Anong headline nyo bukas, Ami?
Hindi, hinihintay natin yung kung ano kung tatanggapin ni General Torre, kung ano man yung ino-offer sa kanyang position.
Yeah.
Kung ano man yun.
There's a lot of chatter on social media that he should become DPWH Secretary because he's an engineer. And I just want to clarify that. I want to correct that misinformation. Hindi siya engineer. He did consider taking up engineering, but I don't believe he finished that or even took it up to begin with. Or parang sinabi lang niya that he was considering at some point.
Parang yung offer sa kanya ay part ng not necessarily DPWH, pero something na mag-iimbestigahan itong mga problema sa DPWH. Now, it's a new position.
So,
hindi siya luma.
The independent body that Tito Sen was talking about.
Yes. Parang ganun.
That would be a good idea, especially if they bring in yung civil service organizations, right? The third-party auditors, for instance.
Pero syempre, nako-complicate yan dahil dun sa pagkakatanggal sa kanya. Parang yung banat ng iba, parang Consuelo de Bobo. Parang ganun. No? So, ganun yung problema dyan sa ino-offer sa kanya. Tapos, syempre, dahil kaka-create lang yan, usually, yung powers niyan hindi ganun kalinaw. The devil is in the details. Ano bang powers niyan?
That's true. It's an entirely new body.
Oo. Parang nung binigyan si Senator Ping Lacson ng position tungkol sa disaster czar, wala siyang control sa budget. Yung disaster czar, halimbawa sa Indonesia, after nung tsunami, talagang yung control sa budget in relation sa disaster, binigay sa disaster czar. Kaya medyo powerful. Yung kay Senator Ping noon, hindi. Kaya medyo hindi ganun siya makapangyarihan. So ganun din dapat dito. Kung bibigyan mo ng bagong opisina, bagong powers, si General Torre, dapat medyo kumpleto, Ricardo. Para
Hindi
magawa
pwede symbolic lang.
Oo. So, ganyan yung
Pwede
mga...
siyang pwede siyang coordinator ng lifestyle check.
Coordinator.
Kasi tinitingnan ko kung sino yung mag-i-implement nun eh.
Yes.
Dapat yung ombudsman yun, di ba, dati? Eh sinabi ng ombudsman, wala daw siya nakikitang useless daw yung mga lifestyle check, sabi niya. Di ba? Yung nakarang ombudsman
You mean the former Ombudsman
Ayun,
Martirez?
The former ombudsman kasi wala pa namang bago. Pero kung yan ang bibigay sa kanyang pwesto, kung siya yung magiging coordinator, binanggit na yung BIR BIR, customs, and lahat ng mga pwedeng ma-involve dyan. Actually, dapat matagal nang ginagawa yan eh.
Yeah.
No, yung coordinated na pag-check if you are living beyond your means. Although napakahaba na explanation ni Ombudsman dati na why it doesn't work daw, pero considering tong scandal ngayon sa flood control, pwede. Di ba?
Yeah.
Pero
Kung
dapat
meron tayong anti-racketeering actually If we have a law against racketeering, ganyan ang gagawin ng mga agency na yan magko-coordinate yan di ba?
Yeah, correct.
Pero dapat yung magiging boss, kung si Tory yan, dapat hindi lang siya power of oversight. Dapat absolute yung kanyang power.
Investigative.
Power
Pag hindi
of
sumunod ang
investigation.
yung listahan ng mga properties, lupa, bahay, etc., tanggal yan. Pag hindi sumunod yung LTO, mga sasakyan, tanggal yan.
Yeah.
Pag hindi sumunod ang ibang ahensya, katulad ng AMLA, banks, etc., no? Pag hindi sumunod yung Bureau of Immigration para sa mga travels, minsan isa yan sa source ng wealth yung travels no? Hindi ko pinapatamaan si Vice President na ka-travel siya 4 times a month. Pero maraming mga government officials, ang dami
Hindi naman
travel.
4 times a month. It's just been maybe 10 in total this year. On average, I guess. But just to be very clear about it.
Yeah.
We have breaking news when it comes to General Torre. He said he will go on leave. This is obviously following his sudden firing as PNP's chief. He says he needs time off and he intends to maximize the allowed leave period. I don't know how long that is.
Which means hindi niya tinatanggap yung in-offer sa kanya.
So, which sounds like may in-offer na, he doesn't like it, which is why he's going on leave, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a direct quote from our reporter. I need a time off, according to General Torre.
Tuloy na tayo doon
Anyway,
sa hindi nakalib.
thank you. I'm glad you brought up the issues, Ami, because our guest today is Customs Commissioner Ariel Nepomuceno, none other. Thank you so much for coming all the way here, Commissioner.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you too for inviting me.
Welcome, Commissioner.
Hi, Commissioner.
Ayan na, si Ami has the first question. Ami, go ahead. About the lifestyle checks.
Commissioner, nag-turnover lang kahapon sa OCD, no? Kaya nawala kayo.
Yes, ma'am. General Cabreros, actually recommended him.
Yeah.
He's my senior in PMA. He's class 84. He's well-respected in the armed forces. He used to be our BOC chairman, and in the Army, he's a retired Major General, and he's very well-respected.
Pero tanong ko na, customs, kasi nandito na rin lang tayo sa lifestyle check. Ano kaya ang pwedeng nakikita niyong problema kung sakasakali? Because it was highlighted before na kung magla-lifestyle check, medyo delikado Pero kayo, ano nakikita niyo kung sakasakali? How can it be a success? Dahil inutos na ni Presidente, nagsalita na siya People are expecting na may kalalabasan yan
Dagdag lang
ano
sa
yung
tanong,
gusto niyong makita to make it successful?
dagdag lang sa tanong ni Ami dahil in the past kasi medyo notorious ang mga customs officials in terms of lifestyle. No? Kaya siguro ang assumption, kung magkakaroon ng lifestyle check, baka hindi lang mga tiga DPWH ang tatamaan, baka mga tiga customs din.
Yes.
Uunahin daw yung DPWH, sabi ni Presidente.
Of course, this will be one among the many assignments and tasks that we're handling and we have to undertake. The problems inside BOC itself are really tremendous, and these have been caused through the years, through the decades. So to untangle them and then look inwardly into our own personnel with regard to lifestyle check will be challenging, but we will do our best to follow the directive. But again, as Secretary Ronald said, the coordination among the agencies will be crucial because we need the support and cooperation of other agencies really drill down on from the surface information to actual pieces of evidence that we can identify and then come out with truthful and courageous reports.
But to Ami's question, though, what do you foresee will be the challenges as you carry out this investigation? Case in point, yung garage full of imported cars ng Discayas. Ano yung mahirap, how difficult will it be to investigate that?
Among many other things. First, again, we'll do that. But even as it is, we're confronted with powerful people behind smuggling activities. In the case of the Discayas, of course, it's in the social media that they displayed around 40 or so vehicles. And it means they have huge resources. And ironically, if you want to depend on people who deliver the right reports, these are honest people. And sometimes, or actually usually in the Philippines, if you're honest, sometimes it's synonymous to not having that much resources, right? So it's
Or
like
power.
or power. It's like watching the movies, The Untouchables. So we need resources to do our job. We need that kind of support. So that the hardest challenge is how to say no to corruption. And then you'll be up against people who have a lot of resources. So that's the challenge, how to say no to these temptations. And then again, we're up against groups or people who have more resources and power than us.
And then legally as well, medyo mahirap din yun because, for instance, we're showing the footage right now. That's a residential address. You would need
That's
a
right.
court order to even inspect the vehicles. Iba yan sa, hindi siya sa warehouse. Pag warehouse, it'll be easy for you to send your men,
Ma'am.
right?
Pag, if it's a warehouse or commercial establishment, even the commissioner of BOC, I can immediately issue a letter of authority. Yan yung parang warrant namin. But in this case, it's registered as a resident, so the dynamics will be different. We have to convince the court that we have enough reason for the judge to trust us in issuing the search warrant that we would be needing to enter the premises. Of course, the Constitution protects the sanctity of home, so we have to comply with the requirements.
In relation dyan, Chairman, no? Alam ko kasi dati nung panahon ni Pinoy, merong either napirmahan o pinirmahan o pipirmahan ng Secretary of Finance, Purisima, yung SGS.
Yes,
No,
yes.
ito yung isa sa mga international agencies na
Ano yung SGS?
Yung Society General
Yeah, it's
Inspection
for the
something.
pre-shipment survey.
Right. Bago umabot sa atin dito yung mga imported na mga dadaan sa customs, may inspection na yan. Tapos meron din silang inspection sa destination nung pupuntahan ng mga ito. May inspection sila mismo sa gasolina. May kulay yan. Kaya minsan yung gasolina, makikita mo may kulay, iyan yung naglalagay nun. No, para yung valuation ay tama. Tapos kung sakali magkamali sila meron silang penalty. No, international agency yan. Kung halimbawa, may nakalusot na iba yung valuation, sila yung sisingilin dyan. Ang tanong ko kay Chair, yan ba ay in place ngayon? Dahil sa ibang bansa ginagamit yan para ma-mitigate or mapigilan yung ganitong klaseng incident na post-audit na yung mga high-value products like mga cars, parang nagpo-fall in the cracks. Medyo malalaking cracks yun kung itong ganito mga Rolls-Royce yung babagsak. So, ang tanong ko kay Chair, anong nangyari dyan?
Tama, Sec. Thank you for bringing that up. Yan na rin susulat ko sa column ko sa Tuesday. Naubusan ako na may ride for mapapagalitan na nila ma'am eh. So that will be my topic on Tuesday. This is the list or the solution part. Although I believe marami rin naman sa BOC who really want to join the crusade na baguhin natin or improve natin yung BOC. But we cannot solely depend on that, yung willingness to participate. No? Dapat maging in place yung mga solutions. Ano yun? Number one, yung full automation. Yung sinabi yung Sec pangalawa yun. But number one will be the full automation. Meaning the entire loop ng processes inside the Bureau from the filing of the import entries valuation, meaning you value how much should be paid for, yung babayaran, and then yung payment itself hanggang ma-release yan. Dapat yan fully automated. Actually, muntik masimulan yan nung panahon ni Sec Purisima, no? But that program was later on canceled, so nagdemanda yung nanalo, who rightfully won, actually. No? So, isa yon yung full automation, not partial. If it's partial, may human intervention pa rin. Delikado pa rin yun. So, full automation means 100% full loop ng processes. Pangalawa, yung pre-shipment survey. That's one legacy na nagawa that time. Ano? But yung pre-shipment survey, meaning from the port of origin, alam na kung ano yung laman and value. Pagdating dito sa Pilipinas, ina-expect mo na yon. Kaya lang, that was implemented only insofar as the bulk shipment and the break bulk shipment would be are concerned. Ano? So yung ganun shipments lang. Hindi yan in-extend sa containerized shipments. So dapat kasama yung containerized shipments. That's what we will pursue now para maging kompleto yung pre-shipment survey. Tama yun. Hindi lang SGS, although SGS is the most popular among the 6 or 7 global companies who can render these services. Pangalawa, halimbawa yung Intertech, meron pang ano. But anyway, 6 or 7 companies yan that the importers will have to use if they want to bring in cargos to the Philippines. So, full automation, pre-shipment survey, and then we really have to update yung ating mga lumang X-ray machines. Bago na ngayon yung mga X-ray machines ngayon can effectively see what's inside the containers. Both yung mga bakal na bawal, yung figures inside, plus chemicals and yung mga illegal substances. Kaya upgrade yan at kumpleto. In fact, na problema ko ngayon yung August kasi we really want to hit the targets. But last week and 2 weeks ago, nag-bug down yung mga... Kasi naghahabol kami, so we are really doing our best. Nag-conk out yung mga X-rays.
They're old.
They're old.
They're very old.
And outmoded. And namumroblema kami sa, of course, sa maintenance. So, I don't know if we can do an emergency purchase for that or procurement for that.
In relation lang dyan, maiksi lang, Commissioner. Alam mo yan sa X-ray, wala ba kayong redundancy dyan? Ang problema kasi sa X-ray, kahit maayos yung X-ray, no? Kung yung tumitingin ay pagdaan ng isang particular na shipment ay pipikit. So wala rin mangyayari doon sa X-ray. No? So dapat may redundancy para
That's right.
Dapat may check and balance.
I agree.
Someone checking
may mga pumipikit eh.
Tama yan. One of the, again, that 1,000 things that we have to do, kung ano yung nakikitang image dun sa actual, tawag doon na examination area, designated examination area, dapat nakikita rin somewhere else sa operation center. Tama yun.
That's
what we will do. Para then hindi nabubura yung record.
Dahil nagkaroon ng kaso dati dyan. May mga natanggal dati.
Tama po kayo doon, Sec. That's what we should do now. What we are doing so far for the last magdadalawang buwan pa lang naman ako. So, there are low-hanging fruits that we have already identified and pursuing. Halimbawa, nung unang linggo ko pa lang, I already issued a memo that all unserved letter of authority or letters of authority should be suspended. Kundi pa naman sinunod. Because we received some complaints from the importers and businessmen na medyo na abuso yan. So to stop that abuses, pinatigil natin kagad yun. Kasi mahabang impact yan, domino effect. Pag natakot yung mga businessmen to import dahil natatakot sa BOC na maabuso, hindi sila makaka-order ng marami. Yung, they will lose the scale dun sa kanilang order. Pag walang scale, mataas yung presyo na lang mabibili yung individual items, magre-reflect yan sa retail price. And then, and worse, bababa rin yung collection namin dahil hindi sila nag-order.
Yep.
Kaninang umaga, galing ako sa Bulacan, meron kaming binuksan dyan na nahuli namin. Yes, 605 million worth of cigarettes that were smuggled in. Napansin ko yung mga, siguro takot sa customs, nagsarado yung mga warehouses doon. Baka kasi, siyempre may trauma yan. May stigma naman kami. Alam mo yan, no?
Correct.
And then may isa doon nakabukas, walang laman eh. So maybe, baka may epekto
Baka may
rin yan
nag-tip
doon sa
off,
kanilang
Commissioner.
trauma.
Baka may nag-tip off.
Yes, possible yun, ma'am. Possible yun, ma'am. Possible yun,
Pero
ma'am.
Commissioner, pagkaupo nyo, di ba, meron din kayong may interesting memo kayo pag-upo nyo eh. You
Yes.
order the customs employees, the
That's
rank and
right.
file, na mag-submit ng listahan ng mga kamag-anak nila who might be involved in companies or activities doing business with customs. Kumusta po yung compliance doon?
Mahina pa yung compliance yan, ma'am, because what I did on my second week was to issue the policy statement, policy direction towards that.
Yeah.
Tama kay ma'am eh. Kasi pag taga-BOC ka, hindi lang rank and file yun, ma'am. That would cover from the commissioner down to the lowest level ng ating employees. Ano? Kasi ang diwa noon, kapag ikaw ay taga-customs, at meron kang sariling brokerage o kamag-anak mo ay merong brokerage, bibigyan nyo ng diskwento yung mga kliyente. At yung diskwento na yon ang magpapa-attract or mag-a-attract sa mga negosyante, pumunta sa'yo. So, number one, that's unfair to the real brokers, industry yan. Pangalawa, yung diskwentong binibigay, pera ng gobyerno yun eh. Hindi mo naman pera yan. So, that's wrong. So, as a follow-through, within the week, actually, maglalabas naman kami ng memo that all employees, 100% should sign either Form A or Form B. Yung Form A, meron kang statement na may dinidisclose ka kung sino nga yung mga kamag-anak mo or ikaw mismo have been involved sa customs brokerage business or naging consultant ka or what. Sa Form B naman, then sinasabi mong wala. So this will already give me the power or the authority ng pagka meron ka dyang pinirman. And this will be inonotaryo yan, ma'am. Ano? So, kapag nagsinungaling ka dyan, meron na akong immediate administrative recourse. So, and then continuous intelligence gathering namin yan. Kaya naman po yan, ma'am. It will be very difficult to still be engaged in this brokerage or customs business habang ako ang commissioner. Mahihirapan po sila doon. We will
Kasi
follow
hindi
that
ba conflict of interest yun eh?
Yeah.
Yes,
But
It could be a self-incriminating statement kapag umamin sila na yung kamag-anak nila
Yeah.
doing business with customs and kumpanya ng pamilya nila yon. Pwedeng anti-graft yun.
Ma'am, yung ano naman, hindi naman po legally, it's not illegal to have relatives owning or being engaged in customs brokerage. Hindi naman po bawal yon. Ang bawal yung sila mismo, of course, hindi nila aaminin yun, but at least, because of this tigil yan, but yung disclosure that you have relatives owning or engaged in business sa customs, hindi naman bawal yun per se. However, the data or the information will allow us to put that information dun sa aming risk management. Ibig sabihin, babantayan namin yon. Yung mga na-identify na merong brokerage firms na may kamag-anak sa customs, babantayan namin yon, particularly magkano binabayaran nila. If they pay lower than what the other importers are paying for, dahil meron nga silang kamag-anak na taga-customs, well, we can do remedies, we can step in, we can intervene.
It sounds like it's the same problem as DPWH, wherein the district engineers themselves have relatives or contractors, right, that do these flood control projects or road repair projects. Or sometimes yung sinasabi ni Senator Ping na congressman mismo yung may contractor. How pervasive is the problem sa customs? Marami ba yung
hindi natin ma-quantify, mama. But there are a lot of information that we already gathered at feedback. Ako naman, sa halip na kumpletuhin ko pa yung research how bad the situation is, better that we have that policy. If it's that bad, so be it. Kung konti lang yun, that's good. So, importante on the second week, may policy direction na tayo and then we will pursue that. Hindi siya empty policy pronouncement. I assure the public, we will pursue that.
On the issue of automation and digitalization, actually a couple of months ago, kailan yun, Ronald? Senator Ping guested with us. This was before the flood control mess. Sabi niya, that's one of the hardest things to do, which is to automate the systems at customs. Many have tried. They've all failed because there are powerful vested interests that are against automation for obvious reasons. Because pag tinanggal mo human intervention, then it takes away the chances for corruption. Again, same question, how bad is it? Like in terms of trying to push for automation and digitalization?
I can only promise that I will retry and really push for that. Whether it succeeds or not, that's, to be honest, a different story. But ang good news naman, I discussed this with the President and he said yes. So I'm pursuing that. So palagay ko naman, hindi kami naghuhulaan. Because for the record, I really did not apply for the job. I was really busy with my job in OCD. Hindi ko pinagyayabang naman, hindi ko sinusumbat yan. No? But we were actually literally preparing for the Resilience Month for July 1 to July 30. Then I got invited sa palasyo, then nag-usap ko yung President, then kaya nga, naka-jacket pa ako ng Secretary. Wala ako sa protocol. But anyway, nandiyan na yan. And then I discussed the things that I would do kung ako nga yung Commissioner. Sinuportahan naman yung Presidente. And then he listed down items that dapat bantayan ko talaga. Dahil ang utos niya, number 1, dapat makakolekta kami kung ano yung targets talaga. We're happy on our first month, we were able to show that we could do the target or we can hit the target while at the same time reforming the Bureau. Kasi ang mindset dyan is, wag mong i-reform kasi hindi kayo target. As if opposing ano yan as if hindi reconcilable. So the significance of hitting the target, we did not, hindi siya pasang-awa. More than 1 billion yung excess namin on the first week. Wala pang pasok ng 1 week kasi walang pasok, dineclare na Malacanang yung sa baha, no? So 3 weeks lang nagkolekta and then we hit the target. So meaning, again, the significance is, pwede naman nating i-reforma and hit the targets at the same time. Then pangalawa niyang billion will be good governance. Of course, very broad yan. Pero alam naman natin, ibig sabihin, pagdating sa customs, ano yung good governance. Ano? So we will pursue that. We will list down things, yung binanggit ni Sec kanina, pre-shipment survey, full automation, yung digitalization, then upgrading the scanners with redundancies, checks and balances, and then a lot of other things gagawin natin yan. Customer service, ang dami talaga. 1,000 things to do at the same time.
Has anyone tried to lobby you against automation
Wala
since
pa
you
naman.
sat down?
Wala pa naman.
Wala pa naman dumadalaw
Wala pa naman.
to lobby you one way or another?
Naawatin, wala naman.
In relation nga doon sa tanong ni Reg, Commissioner, ay dahil panahon naman ngayon ng open bycam o panahon ng transparency, participation, no, at ngayon pinopropose hindi lang sa budget, pati sa mga bills dahil nakikita kasi yung mga lobbyists At pagdating sa bycam, di mo na alam kung sino naglabi para tanggalin itong revenue collection na ito or tanggalin itong excise tax na ito. No, hindi mo na. Ngayon, baka malaman mo na. May chance ba na dito sa mga plano nyo na computerization, redundancy, etc. Dahil in the past, pinopose naman yan Kaso may mga pumigil. May chance ba na kung may pipigil ngayon yan, ay pwedeng maging public in the name of transparency? No? Ibig sabihin, paano isa sa main revenue generation natin ay maliban sa BIR,
Is
ay
customs.
no?
BIR,
Kaya
BOC
mahalaga na
always.
makita natin,
Yes.
kung may maglalabi laban sa mga reforms na yan, ay kailangan malaman ng publiko. Diba? Para ma-mitigate yung corruption in relation dyan. At saka, alam mo, para meron din kaming babanatan. Ano, hanap buhay din namin yan
Yes.
No? Kaya,
Ikaw lang.
Kaya hindi niya sasabihin sa'yo.
Di ba, mentor ko si Sec Ronald when we were in college. Mentor namin yan.
kaya mahalaga na malaman
Actually, Sec, ganito. Ang mga problema natin sa BOC, these are not my personal problems. Paano to, prangkahan? Problema ng buong bansa to. Kung merong it takes 2 to tango, kanina tayong pinapanood sa Senate, sa customs, it takes 3 to tango.
Or 4.
Maaari, more. BOC mismo, the importers, and may brokers in between And then, tama, baka 4, yung mismong end users, tanggapin na natin, marami rin naman mga negosyante. Ayaw nila magbayad ng tama. Prangkahan lang to, I'm sorry, but with due respect to everyone. Marami din namang ayaw na magbayad ng tama. It's not only BOC, hindi ko pinagtatanggol BOC. Again, it takes 3 or 4 to tango. So, automation talaga ang solusyon. Kumbaga sa, ano man sino yan, game of, Lord of the Rings, we cannot solely rely on the goodness of men. Kailangan system talaga ito. Put the right systems.
Ito si Ami.
Diba? Di ba, ma'am?
Hindi kasi alam niya, Commissioner, kwento sa akin ng dating Finance Secretary, pati daw x-ray machine dyan sa custom sinisira eh.
Nalalagyan ng asin, ma'am.
Oh my.
Sinasabotahe.
Yes.
Pati yung
Nilalagyan ng
computer,
asin.
Well, that's the
pinipinturahan yung
information.
wire ng ano. Pinipinturahan yung wire ng ano ng sardinas para kainin ng daga yung wire ng computer.
Yes, ma'am. Kaya nga, along with the other things that we'll do, lalagyan namin ng mga smart CCTVs eh. So kung sino man lalagay, ma'am, ng
okay.
sardinas, makikita yan. So again, there are 1,000 things that we have already identified. Isa doon yung smart CCTVs. Again, wala dapat mga dead spots. Babantayan mismo, ma'am, yan. Tama yan. Babantayan mismo yung aming mga examination areas na nandun yung mga x-ray machines. Tama kayo, ma'am. Actually, ngayon ko lang narinig yung sardinas. Naririnig ko yung
Nakwento
asin,
ni
eh.
Ami yan.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ano yan? Narinig ko yung story, but not sardinas. So, lalagyan din namin ng mga smart CCTV.
But catching the perpetrators is just one half of it, right? The other half is, of course, holding them
Yes,
accountable, prosecuting, putting them in jail, and so on and so forth, right?
Tama, ma'am.
It's-
Alam ko na itong pinasok ko interview, very hard questions eh. Ma'am, ang minana ko, alam, ma'am, nag-volunteer ako ha. Namimiss ko si Secretary Ronald, kaibigan ko yan. At saka hindi ko siya papaya. I like him to be proud of his creation niya kami when we were in college. Although mas matanda sa akin, mas senior si Sir Ronald ha.
Ay, obvious naman, sir.
So, ganito ma'am, I fully agree. Holding officers or employees accountable, including the brokers and importers, holding them accountable is a big part of the equation. Without that, bulahan lang lahat talaga.
Correct.
Okay.
Hindi rin pwede ililipat lang to
Yes,
another
yes,
department,
yes.
right?
So, one of the, hindi naman conditions, one of the things that I requested when I got appointed is to be able to put in my own team. Again, no judgment sa mga pinalitan ko, no, with due respect, but I have to have people that I trust and that I won't second guess. So, nakapagdala ako ng sariling legal team. Yun nga lang, last week lang lumabas yung Deputy Commissioner for RCMG, under which is the legal director, si Attorney Vic Trinidad. Respected lawyer yan, tsaka masungit yun. Hindi mo makakausap basta-basta siya. Kaya lang, on the not so good side, we inherited 9,000, malalaglag kayo sa upuan dyan, 9,000 pending cases nationwide. Eh parang kailangan ko ng sariling Department of Justice to do the job, di ba? So what remains, magpa-prioritize na lang kami, of course, the high-profile cases, like yung mga sasakyan, Bugatti, yung mga pinaguhuli nitong nakaraan, and then agricultural smuggling cases. So, I'll be realistic. Hindi naman namin kahit tapusin yung entire 9,000. Ilang taon yung nabinbin dyan, ano? We'll prioritize alin yung pinaka-importante at may impact, and that would deliver the strongest message that smuggling will not be that easy during our time.
These are cases of smuggling
Yes,
that
ma'am.
you inherited from the previous, ano?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Hindi hindi no previous leadership ano.
Oh.
Accumulation
No,
ito.
over the,
Yes, yes,
over the past several years,
yes.
pero mga cases na hindi, that haven't been acted upon.
yes, yes.
Okay.
Kasi yung mga yung time naman ang gagawin ko naman, attitude ko naman, yung BOC under Commissioner Rubio, may mga nagawa naman sila maganda. Of course, may shortcomings. Ako rin naman, hindi ko naman magagawa lahat. Magkakaroon din ako shortcomings. But we will build on what the team of Commissioner Rubio was able to achieve. Then we'll build on that, but then we will innovate. And we have to innovate new solutions.
Napag-usapan natin na Commissioner itong mga dami ng kaso sa custom in their thousands, no? Tens of
9,000 na,
thousands.
9,000 yung backlog.
Ang dami mo
Oo,
talaga.
diba? In relation to that, meron ding mga high-level cases in the past na hindi naman nangyari during your watch, no? Pero naging very controversial. Isa nga rito, yung nangyari dun sa panahon ni BOC Chair, Commissioner Faeldon, yung mga alleged drugs na pumapasok sa customs at na-investigahan din sa Senado in the previous government, no? Ang medyo weird nga rito, kung sino pa yung nag-expose, siya pa yung nakulong. si Guban, no? At
Taguba.
Taguba. No?
He's the young broker, bata yun.
Oo. So ang tanong ko, anong nangyari doon sa mga kanyang klaseng kaso? Halimbawa, yung mga na link diyan, no? Anong nangyari sa kanila? Dahil halimbawa, pasensya na, medyo hard question ito. Yung inyong spokesperson ngayon, si Jet Maronilla, ay medyo na link dito sa usapin na ito. At hindi lang yon, ay dati siyang Assistant Commissioner for Post-Audit. Halimbawa, itong mga usapin dito sa mga sasakyan, usually mga issues yan ng post-audit. Di ba? So, hindi ba makakabuti sa inyong administrasyon na yung inyong muka, yung inyong spokesperson ay nalilink dito sa mga high-profile cases na ito? At specifically, alam mo, dito sa issue dito sa mga sasakyan. Dahil post-audit, function. No? At siya ay dating...
Post-audit means ikaw yung in charge of auditing.
Bali, all transactions done by importers, we have the authority that within 3 years, we can still look into their books. Kapag may presumption of fraud, 10 years of their transactions can be
so nasa
revisited.
prescriptive
by the
period is 10 years.
Pag may
Pero
fraud, presumption
pag may
of fraud.
presumption of fraud. Okay.
So,
Anyway.
Several things, Sec. Number one, with regard to what happened to the accountabilities, or that means cases that were supposed to be filed against those who were perceived or seen as responsible for the infractions or for the collusion, di ba? Hindi ko inaalibay, but dito natin makikita that the problem is more broad than the BOC environment itself. Pagdating, tatawid tayo sa justice system. So, pagdating kasi sa mga investigations, both inside and outside, in that case, Congress yan, then pagpasa niyan sa prosecution services, DOJ, then NBI acting as, yung gano'n, So, may dynamics na rin yan. So, I really cannot guess what happened during that time, kung sino yung in-identify who should be charged in court. Nandun na yun. And then, I agree, ang nakakulong yung nag-whistleblower. Then, who else were charged? Hindi na ako aware sino yung mga na-charge doon. So, that's another story po. That's another story which requires tremendous ano po yan, talagang problema ng lipunan siguro na dapat pagtulong-tulungan. That's a more complicated and broader...
Dahil kung hindi sila nakasuhan, naparusahan, hindi na yung problema ng customs. Problema yun ng ating entire justice system.
Yes. Yun po talaga.
an
What we can do
international
lang sa parte namin, alam naman na lahat yan, yung mga nahuli namin ngayon, even yung kaninang umaga, doon sa smuggling issue ng mga sigarilyo, ako mismo ang tanong ko, teka muna, ba't nakapasok yan? Baka naman nakaraan na naman yan sa ating puerto. Although hindi ko panahon yan, but I'm part of the institution already, I feel responsible also. Nakakaya sa bansa yun, to use the term. Huhuli natin, pero sa atin din pala lumusot. Well, not fortunately, but fortunately, a direct smuggling pala yan, as reported. Ibig sabihin, ship side. Which is a more bad news. Ibig sabihin, very porous nga yung ating mga puerto. 7,000 plus
What
islands,
does
so
that
many
mean,
ports.
shipside?
Hindi naglanding sa port yan, ma'am, ng legit port. So, yung barko
Sa
na may
dagat.
laman ng smuggled items, containerized to, ha? Ibig sabihin,
Nasa
from
barko.
that main ship, kinrain niya papunta sa barge. Yung barge may sariling crane. Or from the main ship, may sariling crane na
Diretso
sa
na,
barge.
hindi bumaba
Then
sa
from the
port.
barge, naglanding either, as reported, either somewhere in Tondo or somewhere in Bataan.
Yung iba nga, hinuhulog na lang sa laot.
Yun ang problema natin.
Sa
Hahatakin na lang
drugs,
yun.
ganon.
Yes,
Halimbawa,
yes,
kung mga drugs yan, ihuhulog
Malaking
na lang
problema
yun.
natin.
Tapos
yun.
may babatak dyan.
Kasi lucrative yung smuggling is lucrative.
Yeah,
So, quote-unquote, buti na lang, sigarilyo lang to. Kung drugs nga yan. So again, hindi sa BOC problem lang yung titingnan natin that the entire border control
Ports.
system natin. Again, sorry for being the bearer of bad news. Mas malaking problema natin than not being able to get the proper taxes.
Si Alice Go nga, nakakalabas eh.
Diba? So malaki.
Ang problema
Although hindi ko na
mo,
territory
Commissioner.
bang ano, no?
That's
Bang
BI,
pinag-usapan.
Bureau of Immigration.
Yun naman ano yung
But yun nga yung question there, Commissioner, because this is an age-old problem, cigarette smuggling. I don't remember any president that did not go and inspect a warehouse with smuggled cigarettes, you know. Pati na yung shabu, right? Every single president goes and does the photo ops of inspecting
Yes.
tons and
I
tons
agree
of
there.
smuggled shabu. I mean, why is it so hard to catch these guys?
Yun nga, ma'am. That's exactly what yung sinabi ni Sec Ronald.
Kasi may
Digital
mga-
solutions talaga
Oo,
kailangan natin.
may mga ano na-
technology solutions, technology-based solutions.
May mga schemes na. Shipside is one of
Yes.
them.
Alam niyo, ma'am, yung kasabihan pag ang Pilipino nagdadrive sa loob ng Subic, ang bait-bait. Di ba? Kasi the system should be there. Ako, mambobola ako na porke mahigpit tayo or mas relatively we can do the job better. Hindi pa rin yun ang solusyon. The solution is that my team should be able to withstand the pressure or resistance in putting in place the right technology-based solution. Yun lang po talaga. Otherwise, failure din kami. Kahit ma-hit namin ang targets, then we will leave the BOC na as is where is. Without these technology-based solutions, uulit lang po problema. Yun ang totoo dyan. So, tama kayo. Pag meron nagre-resist doon, ibubulong ko sa inyo sino yung ayaw ng pagbabago. Kasi hindi ko po ito problema mag-isa. Pagtulong-tulungan natin to. Marami kaming mababangga, masasagasaan, which we're willing to do. Pero kailangan tulungan nyo rin kami dito because hindi lang BOC problema natin. Napakaraming moving parts, napakaraming actors in this problem, and this is a huge problem. Dugtong-dugtong yan. No? So, sagutin ko lang kay Asko Maronilla, baka isipin ng aking mentor, iniwasan ko yung tanong. Ganito lang. Again, I agree with the principle that we need a new face, things like that. Ano? I fully agree with that. Kaya lang, at the same time, gusto ko rin pagbigyan, baka this time around with me on the helm or taking the leadership in BOC, hindi lang naman si Asko Marinila. Although I appreciate kung ano inuutos ko sa kanya ngayon, ginagawa niya. Pag may pagkakamalian, ako na yung responsible this time. Ano? Bigyan natin siya ng pagkakataon. He's a good lawyer. I mean, technically speaking, he's better than me with regard to assessment. Hindi ko strength yon. Although conceptually, I understand the technical part of my job, but I need an officer better than I am. Kaya hinata ko rin bigla, nananahimik si Depcom Overo, dati siyang Assistant Secretary ng DTI. Nung napasubo na ako maging commissioner, I requested that he be brought in, walang paalam yun kay Secretary Roque. So, nandyan na. So, I'm able to put my team. Pagbigyan natin si Asko Maronilla, palagay ko he will do a much better job during my leadership. Pag nagkamali yun, ako na may kasalanan.
Ilang buwan natin sa pagbibigyan?
Palagay ko ngayon maganda na yung
May
performance.
timeline si Ron.
Commissioner, may isa pang problema dyan sa smuggling. Sinabi na to ng mga law enforcers. Ang dami-dami daw nating private ports. Doon sila dinadaan.
Yes. Tama kayo, ma'am. Ma'am,
Anong
again,
pwedeng solusyon doon?
Tama, ma'am. I-define ko muna yung problema, ma'am. Again, 7,000 plus islands, we have so many private ports.
Yes.
Hindi ko lang memoryado ilan yung private
Unregulated.
ports.
Unregulated siya.
Maraming private ports, ma'am, na registered and unregistered. Both registered and registered. So, walang control dyan ng BOC. And again, we can just imagine sino pwedeng mag-landing doon. Not exactly main ships or big ships, but feeder ships, smaller ships, or smaller vehicles that can go there. So, kailangan natin ng stronger participation ng Philippines. As a solution, stronger participation and support and delivery of the mission by the Philippine Coast Guard, by the Maritime Command of the PNP, probably kung kinakailangan sa high seas ng Navy, although that's a different story, ano? Dapat Coast Guard and Maritime Command. Hindi kaya mag-isa to ng BOC. When I came in first week of July, the first thing I asked, ma'am, tama kayo, ilan ba yung ating gumaganang sea vessels? 17. Medyo natuwa na ako kahit papano may significant presence na kami. Gagandahan ko na yung tactical moves. Medyo sanay po tayo doon. Kaya lang hindi gumagana yung karamihan eh. Sira eh. So that means wala rin, ma'am. So I cannot offer a solution yet. So we have to depend on the help of the Philippine Coast Guard. I'll discuss this with kay General Gaban. Ano naman yon, kaibigan ko. But we will have an open discussion.
These private ports, who do they fall under? Sino nag-regulate?
PPA.
PPA na.
PPA.
Okay. And limited lang din ang powers ng PPA, right?
Well, they should be able to 100% cover this. That's their domain. Their power is not limited insofar as accrediting, managing.
There's also oversight function.
Power nila yun. Direct, ano yun ma'am, not oversight lang. Direct authority ng PPA yun. Well, this is something that we can discuss. Mabilis naman umaksyon si Sec Vincent. This is something that we can discuss with him. So baka mag-meet kami ng September 4 or 5 yata. Ito isa sa agenda ko rin talaga sa...
So what you're saying, a lot of the smuggled goods go through the private ports?
Well, that can be assumed. Wala akong ganong open report na naman, or official report. But based kay ma'am kanina, this can happen. Just imagine.
Yes.
Kung sa main ports nangyayari.
Oh,
Pwede yan.
pati motorsiklo, pinapasok dyan.
Nangyayari nga sa ating ports,
Yan,
di ba?
tatanong
Lalo
ko,
na sa mga...
paano kung politiko yung involved?
Kaya nga ma'am,
Paano
I need
local
everyone's
officials?
help. Hindi naman ako Superman. Takot din naman ako masita eh. Di ba? When we will go to Congress next week, sa Senate kami sa Agricultural Smuggling Committee next week, takot din naman ako personal. Kasi alam niyo ang tingin sa BOC, laging kontrabida naman eh. Di ba? I know that. Pagdating ko naman doon, kahit kasi simula ko pa lang, masisisi na kami kagad as if ako may kasalanan.
May
lahat.
stigma, as you
But
said.
I'm willing to do that. Ang analogy ko dito, which I explained to my team sec, ang dulo namin talaga magawa yung digital or technology-based solutions. Then this is a gauntlet. Bago kami makarating doon, sec, ma'am, lasug-lasug na kami with a lot of things. So the challenge is how can we survive this kind of pressure until we reach the target.
Do you
Pero
have...
pag meron resistance na di ko kaya, madali naman mag-resign,
Halimbawa,
prangkahan. I leave.
Yeah, or you tell us.
Binabanggit ni Com, Mindanao, very porous yan eh. Ang daming smuggling dyan. No? From arms to drugs to oil. No? To oil.
Lahat.
Ang dami mo dyan makikita ng mga bentahan ng mga gas station.
Exactly, Sec.
Guns.
Na practically 100%
Sec, yan.
smuggled
Yan,
yung
iba
oil nila.
bang komplikasyon yan, Sec? Again, this is, ito ang reality. I'm happy we're able to discuss that. Doon sa parte na yun ng Mindanao, in Southern Philippines, ang kalaban din natin doon, mindset ng marami doon, including sa atin sa gobyerno, na kapag yan, if we really correct the situation in those areas, as if magkakagera, alam mo yun yung mindset na mas mabuti pang mag-smuggle na lang kesa magkaroon sila ng dahilan upang magrebelde. This is a mindset that's somehow has some level of, hindi naman valid, but alam mo yun, ano yung mindset yun? I'm not sure if that's really, for the meantime, going to be should be tolerated or not. Di ba? Pero ibig sabihin, pag pumunta ako doon, di ba talagang pinigil ko smuggling noon? What if nagrebelde nga yung mga yun, di BOC, iba na naman kasalanan namin, di ba? So,
Commissioner-
pero ano yan, Sec, talagang sitwasyon
It's a
dyan dyan.
deep, entrenched problem.
Bigas, sigarilyo,
Vegetables.
oil, vegetables, and then meron nga kami tinitingnan. Baka naman po pwede, prangkahan lang, baka po pwedeng, o sige, tolerate na natin. Huwag lang kayo tatawid papuntang Cebu, Bohol. I mean, we're up against a lot of things. And mindset is one of them.
And to that end, how much in budget are you asking for next year, and is it enough to do everything you want to do?
The quick response is not enough, ma'am. Of course, binana ko na yung NEP. I came in July 1, so na-approve na yung NEP ng BOC.
Magkano
The
yung
sad
request
news is
for next
wala
year?
yung digital solutions doon.
So hindi rin ma-implement pa rin.
So I don't know how I can get the support of Congress by making the noise that we need that. Imagine. So wala na to sa NEP ng 2026 next year. So if I do everything, we're talking of 2027 implementation. Baka
At the
ma-midnight deal
earliest.
na tayo noon.
Oh.
So the solution is not through the NEP. Sana. Kaya lang, allergic tayo ngayon sa BICAM. Di ba? With due respect, maraming issues tayo. So I don't know if that can be an available vehicle for me to lobby for funds for the digital solution.
Basta naman transparent eh. Ang problema kasi
Yun nga.
sa BICAM yung kawalan ng
secrecy.
transparency. No?
Oo, the horse trading.
Pwede rin isama yan sa something supplemental.
Yeah.
No?
But,
So,
but how
may mga
much ba yung
pamamaraan.
hinihingi natin for for 2026?
Wala pa akong basis ngayon, but if we will use, pero ano na yun, hindi na yun, I'm sure hindi na ganun kamura. Yung supposed to be natuloy during the time of Sec Purisima and Sec Sevilla. Si Sevilla, boss ko yan dati, ano yan eh, talagang super straight yan si Sec Sevilla.
Techie.
Yeah.
Oh, so yung budget nila was 650 million to digitalize. Pero wag tayo magulat doon. As long as tama yung procurement, tama yung features that can deliver
Yeah.
the mission, wag tayong malula sa 650 million, kahit 1 billion pa yan, maybe even 10 billion pa yan. What we're losing from the leakages ng
Yes.
smuggling,
It's much more.
mas malaki. Plus the social cost.
Pero yung figure for 2026, hindi niyo po alam, sir?
Di pa.
Okay.
Yun yung pinapagawa ko ngayon.
Tsaka
Or
isang
maybe
pala
we can look at PPP siguro kung,
Yeah.
kung advantageous sa government. That's one possible solution.
600 million is just one flood control project na hindi goes.
Okay,
No,
on that
plus,
note.
we're collecting 4 to 5 billion a day naman eh. Diba?
Before this conversation gets away from us, ending ko muna. Thank you so much for joining Storycon today, Bureau of Customs Commissioner Chief Ariel Nepomuceno. Salamat, sir. And thank you
Thank
for
you,
joining
Commissioner.
Storycon today.
Salamat.
Sana makabalik ka rito.
Yes.
Thank you
Marami
for
pa
joining
tayong
Storycon
pag-uusapan.
today. Ami Pamintuan, Editor-in-Chief of the Philippine Star, and Ronald Llamas, our resident political pundit. Join us again tomorrow, 4 p.m. for Storycon. I'm Regina Lake. We are One News, all sides, all the time. Thanks for watching.